You've heard the hype about AI, right? I mean, how it's going to change everything, unlock incredible value, revolutionize whole industries. But if you're a business leader here in Taiwan, all that talk can feel, well, a little far off. There's this huge gap between the promise of AI and the day-to-day reality. So the real question isn't if AI is powerful. The question is, how do we, right here, right now, bridge that gap and actually make it work for our companies? That's exactly what we're going to break down. Okay, let's start with a number, and it's a big one. According to the 2025 Taiwan AI Industry Report from the Artificial Intelligence Foundation, or AIF, a staggering 70% of Taiwanese companies haven't actually crossed the AI implementation threshold yet. Think about that. 7 out of every 10 companies have heard of AI, they know it exists, but they just aren't using it in any meaningful way. So what's going on here? Why are so many businesses stuck on the outside looking in? Well, this is the core problem we're going to get into. The report calls it the practice gap, and it's this massive chasm between knowing about AI and actually doing something with it that creates real, tangible business value. All right, so to figure out how to cross that gap, we first need a really good diagnosis of the problem. The AIF report digs deep, and it pinpoints 3 main challenges that are keeping companies on the sidelines. Let's get into the first one. So, surprise, the number one hurdle isn't about tech at all. It's about strategy, or really the lack of one. A huge number of companies just don't have a clear roadmap. They see AI as another piece of software to install, not as a fundamental shift in how they do business. And that leads them to chase after the latest shiny object instead of focusing on solving actual costly problems.
And this chart right here shows you the result of that missing strategy. It's fascinating. Take a look at the retail and service industries. Where's the AI being used? Overwhelmingly in marketing. We're talking almost 70%. But what about using AI for core product innovation? A tiny 5.3%. This tells you everything. Companies are using AI like a fancy accessory, not as the core engine it could be. And that is the single biggest strategic mistake holding them back.
Okay, the second big challenge is all about people. I mean, everyone knows you need AI talent, that's a given. But here's the twist. The report shows that most companies fundamentally misunderstand what that talent is supposed to do. And this slide just illustrates that disconnect perfectly. Look at the number one skill companies say they need, at over 45%, identifying problems AI can solve. It's not about being a coding genius or developing complex new models. And yet, so many companies put all their focus on hiring for pure tech skills. The real takeaway here is that the most valuable person on your AI team isn't necessarily the best coder. It's the person with the business smarts to find the right problem to solve in the first place. And that leads us to challenge number 3, which might just be the most fundamental one of all. You can think of your strategy and your talent as the top floors of your big AI tower. But what's holding it all up? Well, it's your data. And for so many companies, that foundation is basically crumbling before they even lay the first brick. Just look at this. The second biggest roadblock, hitting almost 40% of companies, is that their data simply isn't integrated. It's trapped in different departments, it's messy, it's inconsistent. Look, you can have the best AI model on the planet, but if you're feeding it garbage data, you're going to get garbage results. It's that simple. Any AI project built on a shaky foundation like this is just doomed from the start. Okay, so that's the diagnosis. We've talked a lot about the problems. Now let's talk about the solution. The AIF actually provides a really powerful framework to build a strong AI foundation, one that can get companies from just talking about AI to actually doing it. And this framework is your roadmap. It breaks down what you need into 5 core capabilities. You need solid data. You need the compute power to process it. You need the right technical skills. You need strong governance to manage it all. And you need a culture of innovation. See, it's a complete picture, covering everything from the raw materials all the way up to the engine that will drive new ideas. But there's one more thing, and it's the most critical piece of all. Underpinning every single one of those capabilities is this idea of trustworthiness, or 信任力. This isn't just another pillar, it's the very ground that all 5 pillars stand on. It's about security, privacy, ethics, legal compliance, the whole shebang. Because without trust, your employees will never adopt the tools and your customers will never, ever accept the results. So now you have the framework, you know what you need to build. But how do you actually start building it? Well, the guide lays out a super clear, phased approach to finally bridge that gap from knowing to doing.
So instead of trying to boil the ocean and do everything at once, the report recommends thinking about it as a journey with 4 manageable stages. You start with preparation and assessment. Then, and this is key, you move to a small-scale pilot project to prove your idea works. Only after you get that win do you move on to expand, and then finally scale and transform the entire organization. It's all about building momentum with small, smart wins.
And this quote from Ye Fuhai, the vice chairman of WPG Holdings, just nails the spirit of that second step, the pilot project. He says, AI cannot be led by IT. It must be led by domain experts. This is so important. A successful AI project has to be led by the people who live and breathe the business, who deeply understand the problems, not just by the tech department. It has to be about solving a real-world pain, not just playing with cool new technology. All right, let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about what individual companies should do. This is about a much bigger strategic choice for Taiwan's entire industrial future. And there's a key decision coming up that could define everything. One of the biggest strategic choices a company has to make is where its AI actually runs. Does it run in the cloud, or does it run right on the device itself? Now, for many of Taiwan's small and medium-sized businesses, this on-device AI approach offers huge advantages. It's faster, it's often cheaper, and maybe the biggest pro of all, it keeps your sensitive data private and secure, right there on your own hardware. So you see, this is way more than just a technical detail. It's a massive strategic opportunity. Taiwan's economy was built on creating world-class hardware. By embracing on-device AI, the entire country can play to its greatest strength, leading the globe in what's called soft-hard integration. This is how Taiwan can carve out and secure its competitive edge in the new age of AI. Okay, we've gone through the challenges, we've looked at the 5-part framework, and we've talked about the big strategic opportunity for Taiwan. So after all of that, what's the one single thing you should take away from this to start your own AI journey?
It all boils down to this one question. Your very first AI project should not start by asking, what technology should we use? It should start by asking, what pain are we solving? Forget about the models, forget about the platforms for just a minute. Instead, ask yourself and your team, what is the single biggest, most annoying, most costly headache in our business right now? Find that, and you've found the perfect place to begin a truly successful AI transformation.